Hey guys, here again showing you how to replace the front CV axle on your 2014 Subaru XV Crosstrek. This particular car has a clicking noise when you're turning hard left. Diagnosed it as a bad CV joint. The customer just wants me to replace the entire axle, so I will be doing so. The tools you'll need for this job are you'll need a hammer, flathead screwdriver, a 19mm wrench. I don't know why I have two here, I just do. A 6-inch extension, a 12mm socket, a 32mm socket for the axle nut, a breaker bar, and I use these right here as my pry bars, so pickle forks. So you may find if you actually have a pry bar, you can go ahead and do that. But I just use those and they should work just fine. So the very first thing you'll want to do is to break the axle nut loose, because they are torqued on pretty tight. If you have air tools, you can go ahead and just jack your car up now, put it on jack stands, take the wheel off, and just zip it off with your air tools. However, I do not have air tools, and I imagine most of you guys watching this do not have air tools either. So first you will need to jack the car up to take the wheel off, and then you can see right in the center of the wheel I went on ahead and popped off the Subaru cap. The only way to do this though is to take the wheel off and pop it off from behind. So you got to jack it up, take the wheel off, and then pop that center cap out, which would be this thing right here, the center cap. You just pop it out from the back. And after you do that, you can go on ahead and put the car back down onto the ground. And then what you want to do is take your 32mm socket with your breaker bar and go ahead and break that loose. So I will go ahead and show you how to do that now. Just stick this on like this here, and I've already loosened mine up. You may find that it could be really loose or not. If you're strong enough, you can just use a breaker bar. However, if you need to use something stronger, I go on ahead and use the part of my jack handle. For more leverage, if you need it, you can just slide on here and pop it off. So after you've gotten that loose, you can just leave it on there for now. Then you can go on ahead and proceed to jack up your car and put it on jack stands as you normally would. Okay, got everything up on the jack stands now, and as you can see, I went on ahead and took the axle nut off of the axle. The first thing you will need to do is to disconnect the 12mm bolt that's holding on the brake line. That would be this line right here. You can see this one right here. Go ahead and disconnect that, and then after you do that, you can just go ahead and pull it away. It's very easy, it just falls down. The next thing you will want to do is to disconnect the ABS mounting tab here. You can do that by sticking a flathead screwdriver right here into the middle, right where that little white mark is. You can see I've already been sticking my screwdriver in, and you just stick it right in there and push outward this way, and then this little clip will open up like this. It'll just open towards me, and you can just pull this wire off. Okay, I got those off. As you can see, the brake line here simply just comes straight out of its holder. It goes off to the side. Same with the ABS connection here. Just pull it right out of its holder there like that. And then the next thing you'll want to do is to loosen these two 19mm strut bolts. You may find these a little bit difficult to get off, but you can just use your cheater bar or your breaker bar to help you break them loose. Before you do that though, you need to note that the top bolt has an alignment mark on it. So you need to mark that before you even loosen this up, so that way you can return it back to the factory alignment. Let me get a screwdriver here so I can point it out to you. Okay, so you can see right here, right on top, there's a little tiny mark. You can see right where my screwdriver is pointed at. That's where my Sharpie mark is located at on my bolt. So you need to make sure you mark that before taking this apart, before even loosening it up. That way you can put it back in its correct position when you reinstall. After you've done that, you can go ahead and loosen up these two bolts and take them out. The hub will want to fall towards you. That's okay. That's giving you the space you need to get the axle out. Okay, got the two top bolts off, and you probably should be looking at something like this. Your hub is falling down towards you, and you've gone ahead and taken out the bolts here, and so everything should be loose. At this point, you can go ahead and take the axle right here out of the hub. You can just usually grab it and pull it out. However, in the case of mine, I really had to use a hammer on this side to hammer it out because it was pretty well stuck in there. So yeah, if you are able to just pull yours out, then go ahead and do that. If you need to hammer it out, go ahead and do that. Don't worry about damaging it or the threads, because you're going to go ahead and replace it anyway. So I mean, don't go crazy on it, but you know, give it a little bit of force so it can get out. So now all you need to do is maneuver this knuckle around a little bit while pulling this out, and then you can go ahead and detach it from the transmission, and I will show you how to do that here in a minute. Let me get this axle out of the hub first. Okay, once you've maneuvered the axle out of the hub, you can go ahead and move to the transmission side in order to pop the CV axle out of the transmission, or differential I should say, because this is the front of the car. You will need to have a bucket of some sort or a drip pan to catch any of the transmission fluid that comes out, but as you can see, I have that there already. And normally what I like to do is use my pickle fork. As you can see, this right here is the rubber boot. This right here is the actual piece that's going into the transmission. I like to just, I mean, you can use whatever you want, a pry bar, I use these pickle forks, you can use a big flathead screwdriver, whatever you can use to get in there and pry it out. You can go ahead and do that now. I usually just stick it by hand like this and give it a quick tap like that, and it pops right out just like it did. After you've gotten popped out, you can go ahead and grab it and just pull it right out of there and remove it from the car. Okay, so I've got the axle back into the transmission now. In order to get that back in, what you need to do is to stick this side into the transmission as far as you can push it in there with your hands. Then I like to come out by the knuckle, and I hold this one here, and I hit the end of it right here with the hammer. Be careful so you don't damage the threads, but I go ahead and smack this a few good times to make sure that the axle pops into the transmission. You'll probably feel it pop in there, and you'll obviously see it pop in there. Don't get frustrated if this takes you a few times. You'll get in there eventually. Just go ahead and give it a few good whacks and it will go right in. Then after that, you can go on ahead and maneuver this side back into the hub just like you did to take it out. Okay, I've got the axle maneuvered back into the hub. Next thing you want to do is go ahead and make sure that the axle is sliding into the splines correctly on the hub, and then you would just go on ahead and push this part of the hub back up into the strut, and put those two 19mm bolts back in. Do not forget to align your bolt how you had it before with the alignment mark, and then you can go ahead and tighten those up. After that, you can go ahead and reconnect the ABS line back to where it goes, and you can reconnect the brake hose back where it goes. After that, everything is back together. At this point, you can go ahead and drop the car back down onto the ground. Go ahead and tighten up the CV axle nut to 145 foot-pounds and enjoy your new axle. Don't forget to pop the center cap back onto the wheel, and there you have it. If you have enjoyed this video and it was helpful to you, please feel free to hit the like button and share it with your friends. If you like to see more automotive repair content, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. I will have a video on the front brakes of this car as well coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. I appreciate all your guys' support, and I will see you guys next time.